Hello, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and say hello to Miss Mingo the Flamingo. Hello, Miss Mingo. All right, my friends. So this week we are talking about fall harvest. And we've been talking about corn and pumpkins and apples. And we also are in review. So we're reviewing 4 letters, 4 colors, 4 numbers, and 4 shapes that we have learned the last couple of weeks. So I hope you're reviewing. But right now we're going to read a book about our harvest. And this is called The Biggest Apple Ever. Do you like my shirt? My shirt says pumpkins, hayrides, apple cider, and falling leaves. Isn't it so cute? All right. Once there were 2 mice who fell in love with the same apple pie. But you had to be there to see how it happened. On opening day at Mouse View School, the principal, Mr. Mouser, made an announcement. We will be learning about apples this fall, and to get things started, we will have a contest. Whoever brings the biggest apple to his teacher will win a special prize. The judging will take place on Friday. Good luck, everyone. I have an apple tree in my backyard, says Penelope. I bet it has really big apples. There's an apple tree across from my house, said James. I'm going to climb it as soon as I get home. I don't have any apples, said Clayton, the house mouse, but I'm going to find Mrs. Mousley the biggest apple ever. No, you're not, said his friend Desmond, the field mouse. I am. Oh, yeah, said Clayton. Yeah, said Desmond. Uh-oh. All the way home on the school bus, Clayton and Desmond talked about the contest. Maybe I could grow an apple tree with really big apples, said Clayton. It takes too long, said Desmond. I heard Miss Mousley says 6 years. I'll think of something, said Clayton. So will I, said Desmond. Well, they're not very nice friends, are they? Gotta be nice to your friends. When Clayton got off the bus, he sneaked back into town to see what Penelope and James were up to. Penelope had come down from her tree. She was carrying 2 tiny apples. James was still up in the tree across the street. He was picking very small apples. Clayton knew he'd seen bigger ones at the market. When Desmond came by a little later, he recognized the same thing. The next day at school, Penelope and James brought in their tiny apples. No one else had brought anything in. Miss Mousley cleared her throat. Class, we have a lot of work to start the year, but because we are learning about apples and having an apple contest, we will go to Mr. Barnaby's orchard this afternoon. Everyone got excited. I'm going to find the winning apples, said Clayton. I'm going to find the winning apples, said Desmond. That would be so much fun to take a field trip to the apple orchard, huh? At the apple orchard, Miss Mousley pointed out the different kinds of apples. Then everyone disappeared in the trees looking for the winner. Clayton walked down one row, cracking his neck. Desmond walked down another row, cracking his neck. Then Clayton saw what he thought was a really big apple. It was a little too high to reach, but he stretched for it. Good thing they were cracking, right? Oh, stretch, stretch, stretch for that apple. Let's see if we can stretch over here. At that moment, Desmond saw the very same apple on the very same branch. He stretched for it too. They bumped heads and fell down. I think we should bring this apple in together, said Clayton. No one said we couldn't, said Desmond. Aw, that's nice, friends, huh? But when they got back to the bus, James had an apple that was even bigger. The apple was so big, he could hardly carry it. Clayton and Desmond looked at each other. What would they do now? Uh-oh. That night at dinner, Clayton explained the problem to his dad. Said his dad. Apples don't come in too many sizes. Do you think you'll find a bigger one? I don't know, said Clayton. Then maybe James will win the prize this time. It's okay if he does. Over at Desmond's house, Uncle Vernon said exactly the same thing. But Clayton and Desmond were still determined. The next afternoon, they went back to the orchard. They picked 2 baskets of apples, but nothing they found was bigger than the apple James had picked. You know, Clayton said, I think Dad was right. This time James gets to win. But we've got all these apples. Why don't we make a big apple pie? Desmond laughed. Great! Let's bake the biggest apple pie ever, and we'll make it for our class. Clayton nodded. And I think I know where we'll find a pie pan that's big enough. Yum, apple pie. That would be delicious to have a big apple pie, huh? Some ice cream. The following afternoon, Desmond arrived at Clayton's house with Uncle Vernon. Everything's packed up and ready, Clayton said. It's all in my dad's truck. But where are we going? Desmond asked. You'll find out in a minute, said Clayton. Where do you think they're going to go? Look at all those apples in the back of the pickup truck. They really picked a lot, huh? Dad drove with Clayton and Desmond behind him in the front seat. Uncle Vernon stayed in back with the apples and other ingredients for the giant pie. As they came around a corner, Desmond gasped, Tony's Pizza! Of course, said Clayton. What could be better than a giant pizza pan? Whoa, that would be a giant pie to make it the size of a pizza, huh? Yum. Mr. Tony greeted them at the door. Welcome, welcome. We are ready to begin. And so they got to work, making the dough for the crust, kneading it and rolling it out half into a big circle and spreading it over the deep dish pan. Then everyone peeled and sliced the apples, mixed together the sugar and spices, and spread the rest of the dough onto the top. Wow, said Clayton and Desmond. When they were finished, wow, wow, wow. An hour, said Mr. Tony. Give me an hour. The giant pan just fit into his huge oven. Look at how big that pie is gonna be. Ooh, yum. The next day was Friday. Who would have the largest apple? James, of course, and Mr. Mouser handed him the prize, a cheddar cheese apple. Cheddar cheese apple? Yuck! Mrs. Mousley looked surprised. Clayton? Desmond? Nothing from you? The two of them grinned. At that moment, the classroom door flew open. In came Clayton's dad, Uncle Vernon, and Mr. Tony, struggling to carry the giant apple pie. Whoa, look at how big that pie is. And look at over here, this is the cheese apple. You want a cheese apple? Be quite interesting, huh? How wonderful, said Mrs. Mousley. That's the biggest apple pie ever. We made it for the whole class, said Clayton. All of us, all together, said Desmond. They shared a high five, and everyone in the class had a very big slice. Yum, yum. All right, my friends. Well, hopefully you get to try some apple pie at home. Next time you go to the grocery store, you can either buy it or you could buy the ingredients in order to make an apple pie. I hope you enjoyed our book. I know I love apple pie. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.